Hi, I'm Crystal Ballard, the proud principal of Hopkins High School, and some of my colleagues are here to talk to you about digital learning days at Hopkins High School. I'll let them introduce themselves.
Welcome. I'm Rick Rexroth. I'm a social studies teacher half-time and an instructional coach half-time.
I'm
Hi,
Felicia Hamburger.
sorry, I'm
Hamburger, and I am a language arts instructor and an instructional coach.
My name is Lisa Zone, and I'm an instructional coach and a Spanish teacher.
Thank you, Ray, Felicia, and Lisa. During this presentation, we wanted to share more about digital learning days. This is something that is new to Hopkins High School, and we're very excited about the progress that we have made thus far. During this time, we will, of course, so you just did the introductions, we'll have a video that has some of our teachers and also scholars talking about their experience with digital learning days. We'll talk about the evolution, the way in which it impacts our teachers, our scholars, and there'll be an opportunity for question and answers.
Hi, I'm Crystal Ballard, the proud principal of Hopkins High School. Each year, we are working to improve our practices. At the end of last school year, we had an opportunity to sit down to look at our calendar, and we realized if we move from a 5-block schedule to a 4-block schedule, we would increase the instructional minutes for each scholar in each class. So we did that. We then reflected on our very ambitious vision and realized we needed to incorporate more opportunities for our staff to learn and grow so that we can reach the milestones in our vision. This makes this a win-win situation for Hopkins schools. Our teachers are able to learn and collaborate together in order to better serve our scholars. We understand that any change to a schedule has a significant impact, but I want you to trust that we are doing some amazing learning that will result in better outcomes for our scholars. In addition, we know that when they graduate from Hopkins High School, they will be required to engage in both in-person and hybrid learning. And our digital learning days are aligned in a way that they have practice and experience doing that before they graduate. The workforce also requires this skill. So I am very grateful that this opportunity has happened for both our staff and scholars, and believe that if we continue down this path, there will be more amazing things happening at Hopkins High School.
Hi, my name is Felicia Hamburger, and I am an instructional coach at Hopkins High School. In that capacity, I have the privilege of working with teachers across the building, and I have seen the positive impact of digital learning days. During those days, teachers are engaged in 3 different types of activities. First, they get professional development in the best practices in our field that keeps them up to date. So far, we have provided training to help them support and develop students' literacy skills and support their mental health. Secondly, teachers get to work with other teachers from departments across the building on 3 areas of focus. We have groups working to improve the rigor, student engagement, and positive climate and culture at Hopkins High School. Last, they get to work with members of their own department on curriculum and pedagogy and lesson design. The one day that your student is at home learning each month has an amazing impact on every other day they are with us.
I'm Nora Tykast. I teach 9th through 12th grade band at the high school. One of the powerful pieces about the digital learning days is that I get to use some content that is more intense and more personally reflective in my classroom, and students get to take it home with them. So in a performance-based classroom, students are rehearsing all of the time, working in large ensembles and working with each other to create really strong musical experiences. I don't want to stop necessarily from rehearsal and do some of that, but the digital learning days allow students to take some of that higher intensity reading material, take it home, reflect on it, do some writing, do some reflecting, and then when they come back to the classroom, they're able to make more powerful connections with the music that we're making in the classroom.
Hi, my name is Adam Schuster, and I am a second-year English teacher at Hopkins High School. Here to talk about why I love digital learning days. Digital learning days are the only chance that we as teachers get for professional development, collaboration to keep our classes aligned and in the best interests of the students. And they are, most importantly, a spot where we get to exchange strategies and plans for instruction that really engages your kids. I have taken things from professional development from digital learning days and brought them into my classroom the next day to create lessons and instruction that was more engaging, more enriching for your kids. They're having a very positive impact on my instruction, and I don't know what I would do without them.
Hi, I'm Lucy Farrow and I'm a junior at Hopkins High School. I think digital learning days are something that's beneficial to a lot of students. We can use the time to collaborate with friends. Me and a group of my friends go to the library and we use the whiteboards to get all our work done for the day. We write our to-do list on the board, and it's really like a fun and collaborative way to do work, and it kind of symbolizes what's going to happen in college, because I know that they make study groups, and it's just something that I think is really unique to Hopkins and something that not a lot of other schools do. And I think it's still like a productive time for many students, and we're able to get our work done in less than we do in a usual school day, which gives us a lot of time to do other stuff that are important to us.
My name is Dr. Michelle Kuhl, and I'm the College and Career Readiness Coordinator here at Hopkins High School. I've been asked today to give my thoughts about digital learning days, and I just want to say, as both a parent in the district and a staff member at the high school, that I see both sides to this issue. One, I can see where maybe there's some parent concern about face-to-face time with teachers, but I want to assure you that our digital learning days are some of the most productive days we have here at the high school. I see our staff working to make sure that scaffolding, new state standards, professional development. I attended one really valuable one on LGBTQ development the other day. But I also want to assure you that it's a time that I see as the College and Career Readiness Coordinator, where students could be out doing college visits. They can be coming in and working on college applications with me. It's a very valuable time where I meet with students and families to talk about what students will be doing after high school. So these days are beneficial for all that are involved.
Thank you for watching that video. I want to kind of ground the conversation in the origins and evolution of the digital learning days at Hopkins High School. As you know, we have a very lofty goal, which is Vision 2031 in Hopkins High School and Hopkins schools in general. And in order for us to meet the expectation of our Hopkins vision, it's important that we have time in order to do the work. One of the things that was important learning during COVID is that the way in which our scholars shifted very quickly as far as their needs and their interests and many other things just has to do with youth culture. We realize that there is intensive professional learning that is necessary in order for us to catch up and to meet their needs. We want our scholars to have positive experiences in schools. We want them to have relevant coursework. We want them to be engaged. And in order to do that, we have to better understand how to meet those needs. And our digital learning days allow us that flexibility in order to better serve our scholars. In the past, professional development or professional learning opportunities for staff has been built into our actual calendar. In the past years, as we have been trying to be more equitable in our calendar, which is a great thing, some of the PD days have been taken away. So we thought that by being very innovative with this approach, through collaboration with the Minnesota Department of Education, we can make sure that we were given the flexibility that our scholars need, and also the time that our staff needs to better serve them. When we think about our scholars in our classrooms, we think about what they need. What is optimal learning conditions? How do we scaffold appropriately? How do we make sure we're engaging in relevant content? And when we do that work with our adults, we have to think about those same things, but put on a lens of what is best for optimal adult learning. And when we think about adult learners and also educators, one of the things that is very hard for us to do is stop thinking about our scholars. They are on our minds all the time. So when we are in professional development and we have to go right back to teaching or something that's engaging our scholars, it's very difficult to stay engaged and focused and think deeply in that content. And part of the reason is that like we want to have what's best for them. We want to make sure that we have our best impressions and everything is perfect. So with having the digital learning days where our scholars, the majority of them are not in the building, it allows us to be able to think deeply, to have critical conversations in order to advance the work so that we better serve them. And that is the reason that we have full days instead of the partial days. We also know in talking to our recent alums, they're telling us that how just college has changed as well. And there's so much autonomous learning that's happening in digital learning as well. And we want our scholars to have experiences at Hopkins High School before going off to college in the workforce, being forced to engage in those type of learning modalities without having the skill set and practice. So we believe by building that in, it better prepares them for what is beyond Hopkins High School. We have a number of families and number of scholars who have said that just having the day to be different is very beneficial to their mental health. Teenagers are stressed. When we look at data across the United States, the number of scholars that are experiencing depression, anxiety, and many other mental health things are skyrocketing. And some of our professional learning has been how do we manage classrooms and how do we engage scholars that are having these real life experiences, and taking that day to do something different is very beneficial for them. And one of the things that I love about it is that we're still there. So although the digital learning days are virtual, but we're still there to be able to support scholars. All of our teachers have their Google Meets open. There's a help Google Meet at the beginning of the day. And then starting at 1:00, each individual teacher is ready and on a Google Meet to support scholars with anything that they may need help with for the day.
Our professional development on DLD days is pragmatic and it's impactful. Education is changing at a faster pace than ever, and our DLDs allow us to keep up with best practice, which is ever changing. What it means to be college and career ready has changed. It was obvious after the pandemic that student needs had shifted, and we needed to learn how to support that shift better. For example, the READ Act and the items listed and in the boxes that you see on this slide.
Another thing that our digital learning days has given us an opportunity for that we haven't had many times at Hopkins High School is the opportunity to collaborate with teams cross departments. And all of the educational research says this is very important to improving school culture and academic culture. So we identified 3 themes or goals for our building for the year: increasing rigor, improving engagement, and creating a positive climate and culture. And we have formed teams with members from people who aren't necessarily in our department, and we've worked on projects to advance those goals, which we'll see a few examples of on the next slide. So some of the examples are, we have one team looking at how to respond to and leverage artificial intelligence, which is a new challenge for us that we're trying to learn how to respond to. We have another group looking at how do you create rigor in the culture of today's youth and the digital generation and everything that involves. We have another group looking at research-based strategies on engagement, and they're reading a book, a current book on that topic. We have another group that's looking at how do we connect our classes to careers and make the learning more relevant to what students might be doing in the future. We have another group looking at how do you create rubrics that give students good feedback to improve their learning. And we have another group looking at how do you meet those social and emotional needs. And these are just 6 of the groups. We're going to have all the groups share their learning with one another at a learning fair in April. So we're really getting a chance to dig into some important issues.
Another part of our digital learning day is teacher time and departmental collaboration. So this is where individual departments get together to address certain needs they may have. For example, the creating and developing new courses with the Hopkins Creates program that is new this year, AP African American History, which is new this year, and our CNA program, which is just new this year and expanding all the time. Where sometimes people are working with aligning courses and curriculum to new standards, such as new social studies standards passed last year, or a CAP grant that involves our fine arts and our visual arts. We've also been working on integration of the ninth grade to the high school, bringing those teachers in, bringing that curriculum in, realigning the curriculum to fit better in our 9 through 12 system. Modifying curriculum to adjust to the new schedule. We mentioned earlier about going from a 5 to a 4-period schedule. How do we use that time differently to best engage our kids? And there's new technology, as you saw before, for example, as AI. And here you can see, again, these 4 different bullet points that have different pieces of what we're doing. But simply, the feedback we've gotten from our department leads and department members is that the collaboration time provides teachers the time to work together to better prepare for classes and to improve the student experience.
So there is a lot of terminology associated with scholars learning outside of schools. One of them is e-learning days. We use e-learning days when there's inclement weather. These days are not predictable in the sense of like we don't know when we'll have an e-learning day. So what happens when we have them, notifications go out to staff and teachers start to readjust what they're doing to provide content for scholars. It does not require us a lot of planned time in order to have those lessons ready, but that is a response to inclement weather. Distance learning. Distance learning is what we experienced during COVID. That was a time in which everyone in the world was learning how to do whatever they did before very differently. We were learning, growing, grappling with the grief associated with COVID, and the way that our scholars and staff had to respond in those times. Our digital learning days are a little bit different. They're planned. We have them planned for the entire school year. There's prior notification about them, and teachers work to either create new content on those days or expand the content that's already existing. We want scholars to engage in learning during that time, and we want that time to be meaningful for them. So those are the ways in which those 3 things are different. As I said in the video, we moved from a 5 block to a 4 block, and moving from a 5 block to a 4 block gave us more instructional minutes. And because we increased the instructional minutes across all of our classes, even with having digital learning days just once per month, we still have more instructional minutes than we did last school year. So in many regards, we're making sure that we're standing and we're engaging with our scholars more frequently around instruction. And then we also have the opportunity to make sure that our staff have the professional learning opportunities to help them learn and grow.
One of the other differentiating factors for scholars on DLD is that they do have the option of coming into the building and having meals. In addition, during DLD, students who are at home have 2 options to get support. If they need immediate assistance in the morning while they're working on their DLD lessons, there is a helpline that they can access. And then in the afternoon, all teachers have online and in-person drop hours for help and individualized support.
I was muted. As Principal Ballard mentioned earlier, we want the digital learning days are designed to be rich instructional experiences. And so we have worked with our teachers to create lessons. One of the things we've juggled this year is for some students, things take longer, and for some, they take less time. So we have given guidance to our teachers to create 2 aspects to the lesson. First is the must do, which is something that the students should be able to accomplish within about an hour so that they could complete that learning and that assignment by 3:30 for attendance. The other is an aspire to do for students who finish earlier. And this is an example on the screen of one of my lessons. It's the must do is something that all kids were able to complete. The aspire to do is for kids who are finished early and want to continue working on their schoolwork. We had lots of feedback, and we really appreciate your feedback because it helps us grow and get better. This is our first year. We're proud of what we've accomplished, and there's more that we know we can do to make them even better. So one of the challenges that people shared was attendance reporting, which we've been working on and adjusting. Another challenge was the amount of time students are spending learning varies. So we've been working with our teachers on that. Student motivation and initiative can vary with online learning, although as Principal Ballard said, we want them to develop that skill. And then some were concerned about screen time. There were a lot of responses that were very positive. In fact, it was about a third that saw some challenges, a third who were neutral, and a third who really, really liked these days. Many students and parents talked about improved mental health, preparation for college, where there will be a blend of online and in-person learning and self-initiated learning and projects, the flexibility to learn in a different way. And for some learning types, this is really, really affirming.
And this brings the end of our portion here. We would open it up for questions for those who wish to ask questions. But thank you for listening to the presentation we have. On behalf of Principal Ballard and myself and the other instructional coaches, we hope you now better understand the reasons behind and the benefits of our DLD days. Thank you.
Bye.